there's a speech that was given by Lincoln, of all people. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but he talks about how in the Constitution, the protection of patents, he specifically is talking about patents, and he says it adds the fuel of interest to the fire of genius. His point being that you invent something, but now you got to motivate somebody to carry that to market to make a useful product. Otherwise, you've got, E equals MC squared, but you don't know what to do with it until you have an adapter or you have a microchip or a semiconductor. And when I read that speech by Lincoln, I was like, wow, I was not aware that in the Bill of Rights there's some kind of a patent protection. But as you mentioned, this patent protection is not in the Bill of Rights. It is in the original Constitution itself. So this is kind of my exposure to it. And it's actually very fascinating that the founders were far-sighted enough to think of something like patents, which, I mean, they were in an agricultural society, very far removed from our highly industrial, and not to mention the communications revolution of the last couple of decades. So this is clearly something very important. So are you hopeful as we close out here that Trump will be able to take on this Chinese challenge? Does he seem to have a grasp of the issues that are involved? And does he have a team around him that is, as they say, on it?
I think that he is absolutely well positioned to take this on. He has a team around him that is probably the best cabinet and team we've had in my recent memory to be able to handle the challenges here, because it's a multidimensional challenge, right? I mean, I say that we've degraded our patent system. Do you know what else the Chinese copied, Dinesh? This will blow your mind. They copied our patent system when it was working. Okay, pretty smart. Guess what? We used to be the #1 most patents filed country in the world. Guess who's #1 today?
Uh-oh.
China. We're not even in the top like 5 or 6. Do you know that the Chinese now lead in like 44 of like the top 50 sciences in the world, as measured by an independent Australian think tank that tracks all this? 20 years ago, we were #1 in all of those areas. We're now only #1 in like 4. So President Trump, I think he is right on it, but it's going to take a multidimensional solution. When he talks about corruption, there's an element of this that needs to be exposed and come out and corrected. It deals with our justice system, our Department of Department of Justice. It deals with how the courts handle these things. It deals with enforcement that has to be rapid and swift and make it a penalty if you do this, not just a hand slap and there's no real sheriff in town. And the tariffs he's talking about to try to get that negotiation to level the playing field. All of these things together, in my opinion, will put America right back on track. It's degraded over a long time frame, but I believe with President Trump's leadership, this is going to come springing back. It's like a spring. The United States is the society to lead the world in innovation, democracy, what makes us a superpower. And I think there's a lot of pent up opportunity here that President Trump is going to unleash. And I don't think it's going to be decades to see the results from this. I think you're going to see this like a spring just fly open. And look, my hope and belief is that with President Trump and the direction he's going, you're going to see thousands of new companies springing up that are going to be inspired to innovate and lead the charge. And it's also a national security concern. I mean, the technology that was stolen from my company, you know where it is now, Dinesh? It's in Chinese drones. It's in military gear, and not just U.S. military gear. So this is a very important topic that we have to address. I believe President Trump will address it, and I think his strategy for leveling the playing field, starting with the tariffs, is just the beginning of what ultimately is going to happen during his first couple of years here. And I'm very excited about it because I don't think we've been in a better place in recent memory.
In the Soviet Union, totalitarianism came with gulags, secret police, and brute force. But in the West, it looks different. It's soft, it's subtle. It comes cloaked in compassion and compliance. Live Not by Lies. That is a docuseries by Angel Studios. It exposes how the soft totalitarianism is already taking root in America and beyond. Based on Rod Dreher's best-selling book, the series shares the testimonies of men and women who have lived through communist regimes and now see disturbing parallels in today's world. They warn of the dangers of conformity, the erosion of religious freedom, and the rise of ideological control in schools and businesses. But this isn't just a warning, it's a call to action, a reminder that truth is worth standing for. So if you care about faith, family, and freedom, check it out. Live Not by Lies is a required viewing docuseries. It's only available on Angel Guild. Join today by visiting angel.com/Dinesh and stream Live Not by Lies along with hundreds of other films and shows. That is angel.com/Dinesh.